Hi, I'm Aubrey Going, and welcome to another Wednesday Wisdom. So to celebrate our upcoming seminar in therapeutic tools, we're continuing on now with part 2, where we're going to demonstrate a little bit of a use of a scraping tool, sometimes called a gua sha tool in traditional Chinese therapy, and in some jurisdictions sometimes known as Graston technique. But we're just going to refer to it as scraping or fascial abrasion. So we've got two different tools we can use. A very common tool that's quite inexpensive, really affordable, accessible for everybody, is one of these natural kind of buffalo horn type tools. We can use that, or the other option is something like a stainless steel scraper, which is kind of my preference. It's a little bit more ergonomic, but a little bit more of an investment. We're going to take a look at both of these tools and see what the commonality is in terms of tissue response. So previously we did a little bit of work on Sasha's bicep using cups. Now we're going to look at a slightly deeper technique. So instead of lifting the way the cups does, this time we're compressing down. And what we'll find is as we go over the tissue, we will feel where there's adhesion because it will feel crunchy. You can probably feel that, Sasha. Yeah, almost sounds like Rice Krispies in a bowl, that we're getting this kind of crunch, crunch, crunch as we go over this. Now, a couple of different ways this can be applied. A lot of people will just hold the muscle in a lengthened position, and other people will go through a range of motion. So for this, I'm going to go through a little bit of shortening and lengthening. Now remember, pace is important, as so is angle for intensity. What's the intensity like on that, Sasha?
It's fine.
Pretty low. Yeah, we're not going terribly heavy. I'm not putting a lot of force behind this. So I'm just going up and down over this area, and already we can see a pretty strong response. If I go more quickly, it tends to be more stimulating. Typically, I'm going to do slower strokes because I want it to be more sedative, more calming for the nervous system. But occasionally, brisker strokes have their place, so we can go a little bit faster, a little bit slower, alternating as we go. So once again, we can start off with the muscle in a more shortened position, which softens it. I don't feel like I'm engaging the tissue enough here, so I'm going to slowly lengthen. And at the point that I feel like I'm getting it better, I'm going to work at that point, slightly shortening and lengthening to change the tone of the tissue as I work. And typically what we'll find is as the fascia starts to unstick, that crunching, popping feeling that we feel over the fascia is going to smooth out. So you can see I'm holding this scraping tool at about a 45-degree angle, or a little bit less, to reduce the intensity. The steeper the angle, the more intense. The less the angle, the less intensity. But this can get a little bit tiring to hold. So this is why, as I said, I prefer the ergonomics of the metal tools. These metal tools also lend a little bit of weight as well, so they can feel a little bit stronger, and it's also a bit broader because of the bevel, the contour here. I can take in more of the bicep in one go. As the intensity, Sasha? Feels different though, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit heavier. It feels like there's more weight to the tool. But again, I can get really good feedback through this. I can feel when it's crunching and bumping, and it's definitely starting to get smoother as we go. And again, I'm just playing with different tissue lengths, feeling for when do I get the optimal engagement of the tissue, that it's neither too soft nor pulled completely taut. I'm looking for a kind of a midpoint, that the muscle is relaxed, but the tissue is on enough stretch that I can engage it and start to comb through that area of restriction. We can change it up and go at slight diagonals so we don't overwork the tissue. And we can even go in the opposite direction if we want to try and encourage length. I don't feel I'm engaging that quite so much. Because we're right down at the joint, I would mostly work away from the moving joint, whereas in the rest of the bicep, I might work in a more general distal direction. A bit more intense there?
Yeah, it's
okay, 2. But again, I'm keeping the pace slow, so it's less intense. I'm keeping the angle relatively low, and I'm not using a huge amount of pressure. So if we think of our 4 elements that influence intensity, area, angle, pressure, and pace, all of them are moderate here, so I'm not expecting it to be too intense. Ooh, as we get a bit deeper though, you can feel the intensity jump a little bit there, Sasha. We notice a slight twitch. Is that intensity still okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're working deeper. We've released a more superficial layer. This is the layer we were working at. It actually feels almost smooth. As we get down deeper though, we start to encounter more adhesion, and so it starts to feel a little bit crunchy again. Important not to overwork the muscle, so we'll do a little bit and then we might come back and repeat a little bit more the next day. Good to palpate and see, has the tissue texture changed? That feels quite a bit smoother to me. You notice the difference in that, Sasha? And less sensitivity. So these tools are really excellent for speeding up therapy, increasing our treatment outcomes in a shorter period of time. And of course, that's going to make for super happy clients. So remember, you can find details, sign up for our therapeutic tools course starting in April, running over the weekend of the 20th and 21st. We hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.